first of my many video blogs with me, Jay Wyatt, and my colleagues Shane Hoey and Scott Middlebrooks. Hi Shane, hi Scott.
Hey.
I'll let the guys give their own instructions in a minute. I'm the EMEA Technical Marketing Manager at AudioCodes. Previously, I was a UC consultant for a global MSP. And, one thing I really enjoy is helping organizations adopt and embrace digital transformation to improve communication and collaboration. So without wasting any more time, Shane, let's introduce yourself.
So my name's Shane Hoy. I'm from over in APAC. I do a lot of the work here at AudioCodes in the Microsoft side of things, a lot of direct routing and Skype for Business. My background is more PowerShell, so come from a different voice perspective in that I started in PowerShell. I'm PowerShell MVP originally about 9 years ago, and now I'm a Teams MVP. And but yeah, so that's basically me doing lots of Microsoft work.
Awesome. And Scott, you're new to us. Let's introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm over in the North American region. Live here in Atlanta, Georgia. So probably similar background to the rest of you guys. I got my start in the Windows infrastructure and system side. And as Microsoft evolved their communications product around the late 2010 timeframe is when I kind of started my journey with Microsoft Unified Communications and have been on that journey ever since. So here we are with Teams and looking forward to helping our customers understand where Teams can fit into their playbook.
That's awesome. Okay, so there's a lot of things happening sort of globally at the moment, obviously with COVID-19 and sort of global lockdowns, and we've had kind of Microsoft Teams sort of thrust into the limelight, and they've been reporting significant increases in the number of daily active users. I think the last numbers I saw was 37 to 44 million. It's probably even more than that. So besides the current climate with COVID-19. Which has been hugely disruptive to so many businesses. What's been the main kind of issues and challenges that you've both seen and experienced with organizations deploying Microsoft Teams? And Shane, let's hear it from you first. What have you seen? What have you experienced?
So the big thing about with the deploying of Teams, I think we have to first substantiate what we're doing. A lot of companies these days are just going without the voice. So they're going from Microsoft Teams without voice. But once they're coming with the voice, the challenges are a lot different than a company that's just using it for IM and collaboration. So anyone coming from, but we can break it down further. We have legacy. So coming from, when I say legacy, I should say, I mean Skype for Business, or more traditional PABXs. And once again, you've got to separate the two. And the biggest challenges, so if it's coming from a traditional PABX, what I find it's just user training and everything's nice and it's easy and they're replacing the PABX, they're replacing the way they're working. But Skype for Business users, they're used to IMing, they're used to doing, calls anywhere and everywhere. And it's just got that little bit of extra layer on it now with the Skype. So definitely from Skype for Business, it's a harder transition. Especially because you've got all those coexistent modes and everything like that. So that's the biggest challenge. But once these companies get across from the coexistence, so if we go up to Teams only mode, it's a lot quicker for them to get to continue going. So it's all about, I think, in all the projects I've been involved in, going from that islands mode to Teams only mode as quickly as possible.
Awesome. And Scott, do you agree with that, or are you sort of seeing things differently over in the US?
Yeah, I agree with one of the main tenets that Shane kind of pointed out in there is that user adoption seems to be a big, I don't know if how big a challenge, but it is something that maybe organizations don't give as much credence to and don't pay as much attention to, just kind of the push strategy of user adoption. IT says this is the new tool, enjoy it or take a hike, as opposed to kind of a pull methodology and trying to kind of sell the benefits and what's in it for me, what's in it for you. This is why the organization has embraced this this change. And let's face it, it is a change. It's a transformation, just as Shane was pointing out. Traditional PABXs, even Skype for Business, legacy Microsoft products. Teams is a vastly different product. Does it offer some of the same existing functionality? Absolutely, but in a much more modern, robust way, as you pointed out, Jay, with the being able to support tens and hundreds of millions of daily active users. Let's face it, guys, there is no way that a Skype for Business infrastructure could have handled the load that we're seeing now with COVID-19.
No way.
Absolutely. And I guess, sorry, Shane.
I was going to say, it seems strange saying legacy and talking about Skype for Business, but it really, especially over this COVID period, you're really starting to see the difference. And to me now, I think of as legacy rather.
Would you say largely, because I've deployed Teams, through my Office 365 account, and I've added phone system, I've added calling plans, I've had prime numbers, and within 24 hours, I've got half a dozen users up and running with telephony. I mean, how simple can it get? I mean, in its rawest form. I mean,
so I think that's a good point, and it's a good point to bring up, is that a lot of people think that it is just quite simple to set up. And it is. So we can get Teams up and running quickly.
Yeah.
But then we come into things like monitoring the voice and, your endpoints, making sure you've got those endpoints. And so the first mile, yes, it is very, very easy. And if you look back at Ignite, Stelle Hansen did a presentation, which is actually one of my websites, where he takes a config, builds a config, and it's a Logic app, and it builds out a configuration from AudioCodes in minutes, and you're done. That was a 20-minute presentation. But there's more to the story than just that config.
Of course, there is. Yeah. We're going to go through this with more of the sort of video blogs that we do with kind of organizational awareness and network readiness and all those sort of things. My example was just, from my own, sort of demo environment. Obviously, it's a far more complex when, you've got an existing carrier and you want to, use your existing lines of minutes and you're implementing an SBC. And of course, if you've got tens of thousands of users or even 1,000 users, user adoption is, both you guys have sort of highlighted as being, one of the fundamentals to, make a successful product. And like I say, I know in the UK and broadly across EMEA, what I've heard is cited is that, managing a multi-vendor environment, has been a real barrier to adoption, alongside obviously user adoption, and given that Microsoft Teams has been with us for a few years now, I think concerns with feature parity with Skype for Business is certainly slowed adoption. And I know that now we're seeing not just huge interest, but sort of real projects happening. It's great. It is building up momentum. Obviously, current climate, there's been a huge interest in deploying Microsoft Teams. So, organizations that are looking to be helped through the complexity from their existing infrastructure, which could have been multiple PBXs, Cisco, Avaya, Mitel, as an example, and of course, Shane, like you put out, including Skype for Business on premises. They also need kind of help with different working practices and different user experiences, expectations within their organizations. And AudioCodes has the skills, the knowledge and expertise to help make that migration to Microsoft Teams not only a success, but as kind of painless as possible. And of course, one of the ways that we can do this is to wrap all of those great products and services we offer into one fully managed service called AudioCodes Live for Microsoft Teams, which I'm not going to cover right now. We're not going to talk about that right now. That's going to be saved for, I think it's actually our next video blog. So guys, have you got anything more to add today?
So, and I think what you were just saying was probably a better way, or like what I was trying to say, there's so much technology, right? So quick we can get it doing, but there's so many intricacies. And to date, I have not, when we're dealing with especially larger organizations, it's not as simple as saying we're going to remove that PABX, right? Because sure, we can set up the direct routing in minutes, but we can't remove that PABX in minutes. And it's a planning and that whole service. That's it for me, what I think. Yeah.
Shane? Sorry, Scott, anything from you?
Yeah, no, I agree with everything we said. Appreciate Jason for you putting this together. Stay safe, everybody. Hope we'll see you on the next video blog.
Guys, thanks for your time, and thank you everybody
No
for
worries.
watching. Do look out for our next video where we'll explore, as I said, AudioCodes Live for Microsoft Teams in more detail. If there's anything we've discussed today and you want to find out more information, please reach out to us. You know, you can all just reach out through the AudioCodes website. But thank you ever so much for watching, and yeah, stay safe.